the force is with me. I'm one with the force. The force is with me. So be it, Jedi.
Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night again, and we are at the Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. I am your host, David. With me, as always, is Debbie. How you doing, Debbie?
Good.
Good week? Have a great. Did you have a good 4th?
Yeah. I mean, well, had to work, but yeah, had a good 4th. It's summertime here in Indiana. Went from cold, rainy, like Camino or whatever, and now we're like Tatooine here. So.
We've also got Cam with us today from the ever popular Cam in Focus.
Hello, hello.
How's it going down there, Cam?
It's going pretty good. We're slowly approaching summer here. We'll have one day of sweltering heat and the next day of, oh, God, I can't go out without a hoodie. But
You've got a new Cam in Focus up too, right?
I do. It's a 60-second scrutiny of the new Doctor Strange. Definitely had some mixed feelings about that one.
Oh, I'll have to get with you offline on that one. But Star Wars today.
Yes.
Marvel's Monday. Grant Dawson's with us already. Hey, Grant, how you doing? Yes, we are all well. And Avocado. Feel free to jump in on the conversation tonight. We're looking at Solo. Debbie's all ready for it, I can tell. I could not find a title shirt myself, so
I was scrambling at the last minute. That's why I'm sitting here sweating, because I was like, I know I've got a Solo shirt. I just don't know where it's at.
I don't. You know what? Honestly, because I buy a shirt for every movie, and I honestly do not think I got a Solo shirt. But I got 2 Rogue One ones, so I don't wear them all the time. I don't wear my title shirts anymore all the time. So, but it's neither here nor there. Solo. I want to know from both of you, and I don't care who goes first, what are your thoughts, or what were your thoughts when you went in? Debbie gets to go first. When this movie was announced and you knew that Harrison Ford would not be in it, that it was a young Han Solo, and that they were going to basically replace Harrison Ford as Han Solo, what were your thoughts on that?
I was excited for the movie. I mean, come on. Nobody can replace Harrison Ford. But I was so excited because backstory girl. I love backstories. Some of the stuff that they brought up in the movie, we've only kind of got little tidbits here and there in the Legends books, or EU, whatever you want to call it. And so, yeah, I was excited to see some of that stuff live action on TV, explain stuff. So, yeah, I was excited. I know there was some controversy over who is playing the young Han. Everybody was for that Anthony Gruber.
Was that the one that was on YouTube?
Yeah, he did. He does an excellent Harrison or Han Solo impression.
Right.
And I watched Age of Adeline because he plays a young Harrison Ford in that show or that movie. And
it's a good movie.
I haven't seen
it. I just didn't. I don't know. He just seemed really stiff. I didn't. Yeah. So I was kind of glad they kind of went the other way. I thought Alden did fine. He's not Harrison Ford, but he did fine.
Somebody told me once, they said, you've got to look at it as Alden playing Han Solo, not Alden playing Harrison Ford playing Han Solo. You've got to look at it as he is the character. He is not the actor who first portrayed the character. And if you look at it like that, yeah, he does an amazing job. I mean, he's got the crassness, the clever quips, the
He's got some of the mannerisms too, but like you just said, this is not the Han Solo that we know from the other movies.
right.
He doesn't have his crap together yet. So yeah, I thought he did a good job. I have no complaints about it.
And this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first movie that we had that did not have Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. Because I think even in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, he was there as at least
He
as a
was there
consultant,
somewhat, but
not the whole time. Yeah, I got
yeah,
that.
Eunice did all the physical stuff.
Right. But I think this was the first one where he was not in the costume.
Yeah.
So sad. I got to meet him once, so that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's just really sad. Uh-oh.
You got to speak up, Dave.
Apparently my sound is coming across kind of low.
Or me and Cam are just loudmouths. I don't know.
I think it's you and Cam, so
I've been told worse, so
I'll use my library voice from now on.
that's right. So anyway, Cam, thoughts?
I enjoy the movie. It's a fun heist type of movie. Lots of scoundrel activity that we would hopefully expect from a Han Solo film. Moderately low stakes. It's not galaxy ending type stuff. It's just it's just a scoundrel heist. And yeah, I really liked Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. He doesn't necessarily look like Harrison Ford, but he has a lot of, like Debbie said, a lot of the same mannerisms. He can pull off the character. I mean, but pulling off a character and pulling off an actor playing that character are two different things. So for what he had to do, I think he did great. A few minor complaints about the film. It's not like anything groundbreaking, earth shattering, nothing like that. I didn't hate it, like a lot of people did. It's like oh, it's just another Disney Star Wars movie. It's like no, it's removed from the main story, and so because of that, you don't have to have you don't have to rely on the legacy of the Skywalkers to carry whatever
no
story you're trying to tell.
Whatsoever.
There was no.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even think there was a mention of Jedi, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't even think the Force was mentioned, if I remember correctly.
I don't think it was either.
The closest that we get is the cameo at the end.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I just lied.
Yeah, but I mean,
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's refreshing to have a movie that doesn't rely on the Force and Jedi and things of that nature to make its story interesting.
Uh-oh. All right. He's going to spoil the cameo at the end. So anyway, okay, so to feed on that, and something too that I think you had mentioned that the fans didn't quite like this one, and I think one of the reasons that the fans didn't like this one was because this movie came out in May of 2018. December of 2017 was when we got The Last Jedi. Now, something that original trilogy fans and prequel trilogy fans both have in common is that we had 3 years between movies to sit and digest them, to dissect them, to look at them and say, okay, I'm going to get somebody else's opinion and look at it from this point of view, and yes, it makes it a better movie, or no, it makes it a worse movie. I'm going to go back to the way I was thinking. The way Disney has done this, it's movie. It was just 5 years worth of movies.
I think they were trying to do the Marvel where
Yeah, well, they're
I
trying
mean,
to
Marvel
crank up-
comes out with 2 or 3 movies, sometimes 4 in a year. So I think maybe they were trying to capitalize on that. But
Yeah.
with the hate that Last Jedi got, a lot of people didn't like it. And so a lot of that hate just kind of rolled over into Solo
Yeah,
undeservingly.
and there were a lot of people. Oh, I don't want to see a story about Han Solo. I don't need. Only one person can be. We want a story about Yoda or Boba Fett because those are the guys with the masks. Those are the guys that somebody can. I say Yoda had a mask. He didn't have a mask. Yoda was a puppet. You could have made a Yoda movie and it would have been fine so long as you got Frank Oz to do the voice. You could have made a Boba Fett movie, which I know there were talks about that, and we got the book of Boba Fett, which was okay. I'll take that one. Something else too, though, about this one was, and you had mentioned not groundbreaking, but something I really, really enjoyed about this one is a lot of people like The Mandalorian because The Mandalorian is like a Western in space. It's like a cowboy movie in space. But if you watch Solo is a Western in space. It is the exact same type of thing. It's got the train robbery in it. It's got them going into the bar and having a showdown in the street, high noon, Oh, we can pull off this heist. It was great. It was exactly like a Western, and it was just the way it needed to be.
Especially with the train heist. I mean that was something that's taken right out of the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
It's just
that was just a bad movie. Don't compare it to that one.
well, no, I'm talking about like the old series, the old serial series.
Oh, okay. Not that crummy movie.
No, absolutely not. Where Johnny Depp played a Native American?
Yeah, that's the one. I'll agree with the whitewashing stuff on that one. Anyway, so yes, this was set up, and that was one of the reasons I enjoyed this movie. I thought I didn't. It's not my favorite Star Wars film by any means. It is not my favorite of the Disney movies. But it's good. It's fun. It's a nice popcorn movie. A lot of the, like you said, Debbie, the backstory that we get, we find out Han and Chewie meet, and which was a little different from Legends. If I remember in Legends, Han was with the Imperials, and
He saved him from
he was a slave laborer
slave.
or something. Yeah, and he
And
saved.
he was a slave on a spice. Well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the story is a little different, but like I said, we didn't get a whole lot of detail on exactly what happened in the books. There was always little hints here and there, so I think Lucasfilm thought they could kind of play with that.
They picked and chose from the thing, and again, they're drawing some stuff. It's not exactly right, but there's some stuff being drawn from the old EU, from the Legends books. So everybody that complains, oh, they didn't, they had all this Legend stuff, and it's like, they're using it. You're just not paying attention. They are using it.
No, they can't see the movie through their hate goggles.
I guess not.
Sometimes I wonder if they've even actually read the books. I have my doubts sometimes.
They read the Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
They know that one character was in that book, and that character not being included in these movies is the reason why they're so angry.
They read somebody's online review of the book, and okay, I've read this one now.
Yeah. 10 minutes of the 3-hour YouTube video talking about why Star Wars is so terrible these days. Yep. Ooh, I agree with that one.
Went to the film house for Solo. We were presented with golden dice with Sabak symbols. Although the original dice were gold, they were just normal looking dice for Harrison. In fact, I don't recall. I mean, there was the one scene in A New Hope where those. Thank you for bringing up the dice, Grant. Appreciate that. there was a one scene in A New Hope where you actually saw the dice, and that was when Chewie was climbing into the cockpit of the Falcon for the first time. When they were in Docking Bay 94 on Tatooine, and he leans forward or something, you just see his head bump the dice. And I remember back before we had internet, there was, people were talking, oh, well, that's just, that's Han Solo. He would have been like a car racer. And so, yeah, he would have had the fuzzy dice hanging from his rearview mirror kind of thing. That's just the way Han was. So the dice, did we need a backstory about the dice and what they meant? Probably not.
It's just a nice little detail.
I think it's a nice little detail, but I think too, because it was somewhat prominent within The Last Jedi at the very end, it was like, okay, we probably better include this because only the super fans are going to know what this means. And so we need to include this in Solo so that the people who haven't seen or don't know what these dice are, they've got some kind of meaning to them. So, whatever. I actually, it's real funny. I had, when this movie first came out, I was talking to somebody afterwards, and this person was like, he was all kinds of, I can't believe I didn't want a backstory for Han Solo. I didn't need to know where he got his blaster from. I didn't need to know where he met Chewie. I didn't need to know how he, about the dice, all this stuff. He goes, I didn't need to know how he got his name. That was a big one for him, was how he got his name.
I didn't like that part.
Oh, yeah?
I thought that was dumb.
Okay. Okay, fine.
I didn't hate it. I just thought it was dumb.
It made sense. And that's what it was it just made sense. But anyway, something else too, though, that I mean, that was one of his big things was, I can't stand the way he got introduced to everything, and I don't need to know all of this. And I said, okay, let's look at this for a minute. What is arguably the best Indiana Jones movie? Arguably the best. He goes, Last Crusade. I said, I agree with you completely. I said, now, what happened in the first 10 minutes of The Last Crusade? Indy got his hat. He got his whip. He got his fear of snakes. He got the scar on his chin. And that was in 5 minutes. At least with Solo, they spread it out over an entire movie. It wasn't all at once and all in your face.
Right.
So having the nice backstories, I mean, the backstories are the Easter eggs. This is the Easter egg. This is here's how he got his, look, that's the blaster he used in A New Hope. And, that's how he met Chewie. Oh, that's good. These are things that the fans want, and they complain about them.
Mm-hmm.
What else is new?
Not this person.
No, I didn't mind it. I liked, I'm with Debbie in the fact that I really like, backstories and things of that nature. So sometimes some of those reveals were kind of on the nose, and I get that, but at the same time, like, what Star Wars movie have you seen where there hasn't been some things that were on the nose? Some things that didn't have to be there, some things that didn't have to be explained. They're across every single movie. So why would this one be, any different? Well, like, what makes the other movies exempt from the same criticisms that people have with this one? That just doesn't make sense to me.
No idea. I want to talk about some of the characters, though, too, because some of them I really liked. Generally, I'm not a fan of Woody Harrelson. I mean, he's okay, but I really liked him as Beckett. I thought he pulled off a double timing scoundrel. Sure, why not? Scoundrel. He wasn't really a bad guy, but he wasn't really a good guy either. But I thought he pulled it off, just the way he needed to.
Definitely. And he also kind of brought about this this air of world weariness to the character, because
I'm gonna go learn to play the Balacourt. or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready to retire. I've been through a lot, and I'm ready to sit down.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he did some shady stuff, but I mean, if you think about the character of Han Solo, I mean,
Mhm.
Han did some shady stuff too. I mean, he was in cahoots with Jabba the Hutt. I mean, not in this movie, but as his story goes on. So, yeah. Well, Woody Harrelson's character, I mean, he's done some stuff, and
Well, and he's kind of the mentor
He
for
really is.
Han.
yep.
He teaches Han a lot, and he gives him his gun too.
Teaches him how to shoot first.
Hold on to that thought because I'm gonna get there. Just hold on. That's coming up. Trust me.
Nope, I can't stop thinking about that special edition where you see Han go.
Lord.
Oh.
It kills me. It kills me.
Okay, so Kira, they're bringing Kira back. She's back in canon now, other than just Solo. She's been in more than Solo now. She's been in the comic books. She was in the
I think she was in the Vader comics.
the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're big, long. It was great. But what are your thoughts on Kira? I'm actually kind of curious about this one because here you've got somebody who came from the dregs of Corellia and within 3 years has worked her way up to a lieutenant in
A crime syndicate.
Crimson Dawn.
I I don't mind her character. I don't mind the story of her character. I just wish that they would have made her transition from, beggar basically to, a high up lieutenant. I wish they made that transition a little smoother because to go from one extreme to the other, with nothing in between, it was a little jarring. I understand, I can kind of reason it away with, okay, it's been a few years, she got inducted into this crime syndicate, things happened, it changed her. I get that, but it just didn't feel smooth. I feel like, there might have been something there that got left on the cutting room floor by the end of it, and if that's the case, then I wish it was included.
It may have been necessary to kind of fill in some holes in the story.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Debbie?
Well, I don't know. I think maybe they kind of wanted that element of surprise that you don't know what happened to her after Han got through and she got stuck with the other gang that they were part of. And, you don't know, did they kill her because that was a big betrayal and they had stole the coaxium. So you kind of think, well, if she didn't, because my thought was either she died or she was going to have to really do some work to not get killed, like make promises or I'll do anything.
Right.
So I think it was just that they wanted that surprise of Han seeing her on that guy's yacht. Paul Bettany, I can't think of the Dryden
boss.
Yes, Dryden. I think they didn't want to. Well, not really spoil it, but I think they just wanted us to be surprised, like Han was, like, oh my God, she made it through. She's not in the dregs of Corellia.
And honestly, again, he meets her on the bar or at the party or whatever. It was on his yacht or something, right? Big party, and he sees it, and that was that was like, oh hey, I'm coming to get you. I'm on my way. But even I, as a guy, and not even as a guy, as a human being, my first impressions of her was she's gonna turn on them, or she is engulfed in this crime syndicate. and this is her life, and this is the way she likes her life. And if you think Han is going to redeem her and turn her good, you're out of your mind, because that's not going to happen. I mean, I had that pegged from the first time she saw Han at the party. And I was just like, okay,
because it's not like
she'll be bad at the end.
Yeah. You know, she's not under the influence of the dark side of the Force or nothing like that. No, she's just a human who made choices. And, you know, she got to where she is for a reason. And you know, coming across, you know, an old lover or something like that isn't going to suddenly make you think, oh, well, I'm going to turn on this, you know.
We're gonna go with all of these plans we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
Because, you know, those always pan out. If my plans had panned out, I would have been like a cowboy astronaut or something. But here I am talking about Star Wars. So anyway, yeah, I had it. Like I said, I walked into that movie and I had it pegged, and I was just like, and again, this was one of the ones I didn't read any spoilers on this. I steered away from this one as much as I could, so that anything that happened would be a surprise. And okay, so the Kessel Run. I want to talk about the Kessel Run because that was one of. They had so many main characters on the Falcon, and it was, you know, they were flying away from the monster and trying to pull out of the mall and trying to, you know, shoot the straight line to catch the one opening that they had and feed the hyperdrive fuel into the thing. And I mean, it was just a tense scene. But you had Han, you had Chewie, and you had Lando that were all on that, and you had the ship, you had the Millennium Falcon. You knew that they were going to make it. They had to. Because there's movies that happen after this one. So you knew that they were going to make it. But that movie, to me, was and still is so tense. I mean, I get just so wrapped up in it thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to make it? Are they going to get out of there? You know, how are they going to make this work? And then when they take off, I'm like, well, I knew they were going to do that because they all survived to the next movie. So they got to be around.
Yeah, I thought that was probably one of the best scenes in the movie. It was tense. Hell, you even had the Imperials there, so
TIE fighters and everything.
Yeah, and what I really liked about it was the classic music that they updated. I love that. That was just glorious. So awesome.
And it was all, I mean, because it was all familiar. Like, I know this.
Yeah, and they just kind of updated it a bit. It was
they updated it, and they took like 2 or 3 different pieces, and they ran them all together as one single piece, which was, and I can't remember the name of it because I remember walking out of that movie thinking, okay, I need the soundtrack to this, and I need that piece of the score because that was amazing.
It was.
Okay, Kessel Run. Kessel Run reminded me of the underwater in Naboo. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that must have been.
Except there was not a bigger fish on this one.
Well, I was going to say that must have been the bigger fish that Qui-Gon was talking about.
You had the monster, and then the Maul was basically the bigger fish.
Okay, fine. So there's always a bigger fish.
There you go. Just a little bit of a metaphor there.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem whenever you're making a prequel movie. You know, you're trying to make a scene, you know, super tense, super, you know, suspenseful, and you're wondering how are they going to get out of it. But I mean, yeah, that's a problem with prequels. I mean, it's like in some cases, knowing that the characters survive into the next movie takes a lot of the tension out of it. But I think that Ron Howard did a good job of, in addition to making a really visually appealing scene. It was tense in its own way because you know things were just going wrong left and right, and you're like, okay, and it's not so much are they going to make it out of there, it's more how are they going to make it out of there, and therein lies the excitement. So yeah, I think that, you know, while prequels tend to have their drawbacks in that regard, I think that Ron Howard, you know, made the best of the situation he was dealing with.
And
that was the big challenge for him, and I really think he did with what he had to work with, I thought
Yeah.
he did a really good job. I don't know what the issue was with the other. Who was it?
I don't remember. It was a pair of
Uh,
directors, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Was it the Russo brothers?
No.
No. Let's not go crazy now. Although if they made
Well,
a
I'm
movie,
just
I'd
trying
go
to,
see it.
because I was thinking they were mostly known for comedy, and I don't know if they were just trying to make this a running joke type movie, or maybe it was just too much comedy. I don't know what the problem was. I don't care, but I think Ron did an excellent job of doing whatever he had to do to get the film out, and I tend to like all Ron Howard movies, so I can't complain.
One other thing I had, doggone it, I lost. Debbie, you made me lose my train of thought. It
Sorry.
left the station and I wasn't on it.
That's me every day.
Oh, Kessel Run. We also cleared up the 12 parsecs. It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, and I'm glad that because that was something people were arguing about for years, and it was like, oh well, that's that's not distance, that's distance, not time, blah blah blah, and oh, it's so fast. Then why did he say something about distance versus time? I always took it as it's a fast ship. That's what he said. It's just a fast ship. So they cleared that up. I'm glad they did. And that's all we'll talk about the Kessel Run now. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Well, I liked the little exchange between him and Chewie at the end of it. Chewie, grumbles something about the distance, and he was like, "Nope, not if you round down."
Not if you round down. I just made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Not if you round down. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was probably like 13.01 or something.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm just gonna go ahead and round that down.
Or it was 12.96 parsecs.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that's 12. We'll run it down.
Yeah, whatever.
So Lando, Donald Glover.
Yes,
He was great. He was great.
He crushed the hell out of that.
This was probably the greatest casting for just in any Star Wars movie. I mean, it was almost like you were looking at a de-aged Billy D. Williams, only he wasn't de-aged. It was glorious.
Yeah, I mean, I like Donald Glover as an actor. I really appreciate his musical career. I like a lot of his music. He's a great artist. And I think the first movie that I saw him in was actually The Martian, with Matt Damon.
Was he in that?
He was. The whole big Project Elrond thing where he's in the conference room and he's like buzzing stuff around people's heads. Yeah, that's.
Wow, I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yep,
Because
that's
it's
Donald
really
Glover.
the only thing I had ever seen him in, and I really didn't watch that whole series, but Community.
That was
the only thing I even knew him from, and I don't know his music, so I know he's the something Bambino or something.
Childish Gambino. Yep.
There you go.
I'm not familiar with his music either. I mean, I'm not saying I am familiar, but I'm sure if you played me something of his that's popular, I probably would say, "Oh yeah, I've heard that before." But Community, which he was brilliant in, playing off of oh gosh, I can't think of his name. If you haven't seen, no, the tall skinny kid thought everything was a TV show, lined everything up like a TV show. Anyway, if you haven't seen Community, go watch Community, because at least the first 4 or 5 seasons, because it's hilarious. And when Donald Glover leaves, you can probably stop and it'll be fine. Because they all kind of left around the same time. So, okay, Donald Glover. Now, one other character that I want to look at, and it's not really a character, but it really is the Millennium Falcon. This has been a centerpiece of Star Wars lore since 1977 when we first saw it on the theaters. There have been books written about it. There have been Lego sets made, and I know because I own quite a few of them. There have been video games about flying the Millennium Falcon. And here we kind of get a first prequel look at the Millennium Falcon.
It's shiny, it's new, it's got all the
It's got all the bells and whistles.
Yes.
I think
it has an escape pod.
An escape pod. I think he said even something about a hot tub too. Because let's face it, that was Lando's party cruiser for what was the line in Thor? This is his party cruiser. He uses it for his birthday and to have orgies and things.
Oh yeah.
Don't touch anything. Just don't touch anything.
It's my birthday.
Danny Pudi.
Yeah. Yes, that's him. Go watch Community. It's a good show.
It was in the comments. Stephanie.
Oh, I had switched over.
I think some of my favorite exchanges in the movie all involve them talking about Lando's capes.
and you know what, that was honestly really clever the way that they did that, because I think in Empire there was a few scenes in Empire where he didn't have a cape. I mean, he was wearing the suit that the cape went with, but then in Jedi, I guess he was in Jabba's palace, he was not wearing a cape. But when he was General Calrissian and he was flying the Millennium Falcon against the Death Star, yes, of course, cape. Gotta have a cape.
But they did have the helmet that he wore in Jedi.
Yeah. In fact, they not only had that helmet, what's his name wore it too when they dropped Chewie and
Beck?
Yeah, Beck wore it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh. Okay. All right. I was thinking there was a scene prior to that on the ship where they had it and they were looking at it or something.
Nope, that's another thing that they got from Beck.
From Boss? No. Yes, you're right. Beckett. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a day, folks.
What was that about your train of thought?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're having lots of senior moments. Usually that's my job.
I know, right?
Platform 9 3/4.
Of course. Platform 9 3/4.
There must be a mistake.
Actually, there's a comedian and he compares, if you go look on YouTube with and I don't even know who it is, compares Harry Potter to Star Wars. And he says J.K. Rowling didn't write a classic. J.K. Rowling didn't.
I've seen that.
She wrote Star Wars with dumb lightsabers. You got an orphan kid who lives with his aunt and uncle, gets rescued by a bearded guy. The aunt and uncle and teaches him about an old kind of magic. The aunt and uncle want him to have nothing to do with this and fight him all the way. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Go watch
Except they don't die.
Yeah, except they don't die. Yeah.
And they have a kid of their own.
So anyway, Millennium Falcon. So the droid that Lando's
L3. If I had to hate anything in this movie, that's what I hated. I hated the L3. I hated the kind of the sexual innuendo that they had going on between Lando.
That was pretty.
I hated that. I hated the whole.
It wasn't
robot
an innuendo.
revolution.
It was like pretty blatant.
Yeah, I just, that was the one thing I really, really hated.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I hated it. I'm not gonna lie. I did kind of get a chuckle out of that little exchange where Kira was like, "How does that work?" And L3 was just like, "It works."
Yeah.
That one line kind of made me laugh a little bit, but yeah, everything else involving the equal rights thing and whatnot, that just didn't work for a droid for me.
But though, it did. For me, the equal rights thing worked for me just because she was arguing with the fighting coordinator or whoever when the droids were battling each other. Which, by the way, that's Ron Howard's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So go for it, Ron. Put your brother in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she, so that established that, so that when we get to Kessel and she knocks that restraining bolt off that other droid and she says, "I don't know, you're free. Go free the other droids and rise up." And then all of a sudden, all of these droids are rising up, and that's causing the distraction that they need to get off the planet, basically. And she's like, look, I did it. I finally did it. That, to me, was great. I liked it because it was a completion. It was the full circle of her character. It was, she had set out to free the droids, and by God, she freed them.
Yeah, I just found it all annoying.
Fleabag in droid form. Can't remember voice actor's name. I don't remember.
She's got a hashtag, or not a hashtag, a hyphenated first name and then a hyphenated last name.
I can't recall what it is either. Anyway. But I mean, and there was some stuff that was just like, "Oh, don't look at me. I can't do this while you're looking at me." It's like, come on, really? Seriously?
Yeah. I do think that honestly the scene where she dies, if everything else in her character I didn't like, that one scene I actually kind of did like. I liked that her last words are, "What's happening to me?" I don't know why. For some reason that kind of just, I don't know, kind of just hit me in the feels. And of course, Donald Glover, he's a great actor. He played off the scene really well. And then obviously that leads into, them putting her mind into the Falcon, which leads us into Empire Strikes Back, where it's like, I don't know where the Millennium Falcon learned to communicate.
She has the most peculiar dialect.
Yeah, she makes the Falcon quirky.
and of course the sound effects. God love the sound effects crew, because you had the sound when her mind was transferred in. That sound can be heard in the original trilogy on the Falcon. So that's just one of those clever little things that everything ties together.
What? I don't think I heard the engine turnover sound effect from Hoth.
Okay, so let's do the rest of Beckett's crew. You had the girl and the mouse.
Rio and Val.
Yeah.
I liked Rio. And Val, I mean, she wasn't in the movie that much, but I liked her.
They should have carried her over, I think.
Yeah, well, she was in the movie enough to serve her purpose to the story, which was, establish who she is to Beckett. But that's kind of all her character was. It's just, she's Beckett's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. That's all she was. And then whenever she sacrificed herself, I did not feel a thing.
I didn't either. I was like, wow, that was a waste of
cold.
Character.
Cold.
No, I was looking at it going, they killed her already? Come on, we still got a whole lot of movie to go.
It's like, come on, it's Tandy Newton.
Yeah, you're at the end of Act 1. Come on.
I felt more for Rio's death than I did for her, and all Rio did was crack jokes.
Rio was amazing. Yeah. You ever curled up in a Wookiee's lap? You've never had a good nap until you've slept in a Wookiee.
Yeah, I liked him. He was sassy. He had a lot of good lines.
Jon Favreau. Did the
was
voice.
That Jon Favreau?
That was Jon Favreau.
I did not know that.
See,
Oh my
more reason.
God.
I've actually been binge watching Friends, and I'm just past all the episodes where Favreau was in it as who was it? It was Courtney Cox's boyfriend, and he's like the rich millionaire and everything. And I was like, oh, John Favreau. Everything he's in is great. Everything he makes is great.
Except for Iron Man 2.
Oh,
Oh,
think
don't let Chris hear you.
I was going to say, I think Chris would fist fight you on that one. Because I think that's his favorite.
Really?
Well, Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Yeah. Sam Rockwell makes the movie for him. I don't speak Russian.
And he does. He makes that. That's the good thing about that movie is Sam Rockwell.
So anyway, yeah, I like Rio. I mean, I thought he was great. He was quirky, and when he died, I was.
I was like, oh
I was
man, come on. It was a sad death.
Yeah, I don't like that Beckett's crew was essentially just there to be cannon fodder.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were gonna die, I really would have preferred for them to at least die in the third act.
Well, even spread out over the movie.
Yeah,
have one die in the second
that
act,
too.
and then one die in the third act, and I would have been fine with that too. I mean, even having Val die in the third act, and that's kind of what pushes Beckett over the edge. Now, Enfys Nest.
Very cool.
She, you know what? She was cool, and it was a motorcycle gang, which was, that was cool too. The problem I had with her was when they got to the camp at the very end, and she's confronting them, and she takes her helmet off, and it zooms up on her real tight and close, and it's almost like you're supposed to know, okay, who are you? It's almost like this is some kind of big reveal.
Well, I think she had that voice modulator, so I think everybody assumed, including Beckett, that it was a guy. So for her to take off that helmet, all that hair fall out, and she's a young, I don't know if she's supposed to be a teen or maybe early 20s, but she's a young girl, and she runs this gang. So yeah, it was kind of a surprise. I was surprised.
I was like, I was just kind of, well, that was something. There she is. That was the thing.
Yeah, and
what did it mean?
And then like the majority of her dialogue is just explaining her backstory, the village's backstory. I was like, okay, that's cool and all, but who are you as a character?
Yeah,
exactly. Because like, yeah, she explains, where she came from or where these people came from, but like I didn't come out of it having learned anything about her or like her personality, who she is, what she had to do to get where she is. It all
we
just
might
seemed...
have seen more about it if they would have done the next two movies, which quickly got canceled.
Yeah, which
we might have seen her in Solo 2 or 3 or whatever. So who knows? But we'll never know.
Well, honestly, the way that the TV shows are going right, I say the TV shows, the Disney Plus series are going right now, I would not be surprised at all if we get some kind of, okay, here's a Disney Plus story that involves Kira. Here's a Disney Plus story that involves Enfys Nest, and maybe even all at the same time.
Movie or TV?
No, like a six part mini, like we're about to get with Kenobi.
Well, Lando's getting a series.
So, well,
from what I understand, and I think Grant mentioned that earlier. I think
Grant did too. Let's see. Grapevine says no guarantees on this, folks. But that's the rumor. Nope. Yep.
I think that as far as a Disney Plus series for these lesser known characters. I think that probably what they should do is, yeah, go ahead and do like a 6-part Disney Plus series, but have each part be about an hour long, and have each part focus on one particular character. Like this episode for Enfys Nest, this episode for Kira, this episode for, I don't know, Bosk or something. I mean, I think that, because we already got Visions, which was, fun in its own way as an anthology series. I think that they should continue with those anthology series to give more light to these, characters who don't get a spotlight.
Kind of like the books in the old
Yeah.
the Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina and Tales from Jabba's Palace in the old
Yeah,
EU.
definitely, because but getting these books and stuff is great, but the main draw for the Star Wars franchise is the visual medium. And so if we got an anthology series where each episode focused on a different character, a different story, a different period in Star Wars history, I think the fans would eat it up.
I'd be game for it. I'd be curious.
Especially if they did like Darth Bane or Raven or some of the
old
that would require its own series. I think.
But
I wish they would.
No. But
I've been dying for something like that.
But see, here's where you make this work, or here's how you make this work. You take an anthology and you say, okay, 6 parts. We're going to focus on 5 characters. Now, of those 5 characters, all 5 of those characters have to have some common theme to them. So, like, you can do Enfys Nest, you can do Kira, maybe Darth Maul, show where he's been and what he's been doing. But then your 6th episode is all 5 of those stories coming together. Okay, here's where everybody's paths cross and the final showdown happens. That's
I'd be all for that. Absolutely.
So to say yes, Bane or Revan or Malik, you could say, okay, we're gonna do here's the 5, and then here's how the Sith formed and the Rule of 2 and all this other stuff.
Well, I really, 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 really want a Starkiller series or movie. I'd be happy with the movie.
Force Unleashed.
I want Sam Witwer in a live action show. So bad.
Yeah, well, I think that, with the way that the current canon is, I don't think they would be able to believably pull off a Darth Vader apprentice type of story in that regard. I think that if they were to bring in Starkiller to canon, I think that the best way to go would be to have him be some kind of crazy elite inquisitor. Because that's, the direction that they've taken the canon, where
Right.
Vader doesn't have an apprentice, he has acolytes, basically, like a group of acolytes.
Yeah.
And I actually
we could
saw
be anything. I really don't care. I just want to see live action Star Wars Sam Witwer.
Absolutely.
Please.
I agree.
Lucasfilm, listen to me.
I mean, he's certainly done enough in Star Wars. I mean, he was the voice of Palpatine, I think, in Rebels.
He was Maul in Clone War. Or...
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. He was Maul. Who voiced Palpatine in Rebels? Why did I think of that?
I think he's done Palpatine. He's done.
He has done Palpatine before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and he is so knowledgeable. Have you ever seen him do trivia? Holy!
Oh yeah. Well, I saw him doing trivia alongside Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, live action Sam Witwer Star Wars show or movie. Yes, go.
Debbie says, "Make it happen."
Make it happen.
Filoni, Favreau, if you're watching, let's get on.
And we know they are.
Hashtag we want Sam.
And he's so cool. And I've liked him in it. Well, he's been in some DC TV shows. He was in Supergirl, and he was in a show called
Being Human, I think.
Yes, I loved him in that show. So yeah, great actor. I love him. He needs to have his own TV series, Star Wars.
Cool.
Rant's over.
Debbie's ranting again. We'll just let her go. She'll run out of gas in a minute.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you're wanting Revan. I mean, we are getting the Knights of the Old Republic remake. So in that sense, they're bringing Revan, I guess, to canon because it's under the Lucasfilm name. It's coming out, funded by Disney. So I mean, I believe that this is their way of making Revan canon. I think they're gonna not necessarily overhaul his story, but tell his story in a fresh way. So
that
I'm all for it.
It makes canon, and we there have been mentions there. We had been talking about this somewhere else, but okay, so well, we want Revan. Well, Revan was kind of sort of mentioned in
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. And
yeah,
then,
but
okay. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm pretty sure one of the flagships is called the Revan.
The Revan. And then also too, if you go and watch the Clone Wars and you watch the lost missions of the Clone Wars, and this would have been the season that would have happened had Disney not purchased Lucasfilm. So this would have been like the 2012 season, 2013 season of the Clone Wars. It's called The Lost Missions. But in that one, you had Yoda run off, and he confronted, dark side spirits at some point, and one of them, or the one that he had confronted, identified himself as Bane, as Darth Bane.
Yep.
So everything's being brought into canon, people. Let's just calm down. You'll get
I'm old. They need to do it now before I pick the bucket.
Before she loses her senses and
before I join the Force.
Yeah, just wait. Well, whenever you're 75 or something, they're going to announce a Darth Bane series, and then whenever you hear that, you're going to have a heart attack and you're going to die.
Probably. Make it happen, people.
Okay. Grant said, speaking of games, Fallen Order 2 release date spring of 23. Cool. David, on this note, that you were playing in Texas, the 28th at the Woodlands, Texas, and the 29th in Dallas, Texas. Wolf Totem and Fallen Order Live. I am honestly aware of the Hue coming. Here's the problem. Grant, I would love to go see this, and I would love to go see him, and I think it would be great. The problem is that I'm old, and that type of music draws a young. I like the music. Don't get me wrong. I love sitting and listening to him, but that type of music draws a younger crowd, and I would be that creepy old guy who's sitting up in the stands and not joining in the mosh pit and everything else. So,
whenever you go to sit at the bar, people move their drinks away from you.
Yeah, exactly. He's that creepy old guy that sits in the corner, aren't you? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me.
Back in my day, they only played with one speaker.
That's right.
We only had
the buildings had to have good acoustics because we didn't have sound systems. They played drums on rocks.
They've come a long way since Woodstock. It's okay, David. Make a joke about how I'm so young, please. I know you want to.
No. No, go for it. You're young. You don't know. You don't know Woodstock. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're all just whippersnappers. I think I'm the oldest of the group.
I think you are, and that makes me feel better because at least I'm young, or at least I'm younger.
Yeah, just call me the fart. That's all right.
All right. We are about an hour in. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about for Solo? I know Debbie's probably got a page full of notes, so.
Hold on a second. we didn't really talk about him too much, but Paul Bettany. And I think it was Grant who said it. I'm not quite sure, but Grant had said that they could have played that darker. I agree, because he did not come off as a crime lord. I don't know. It just
I don't know.
And I love Paul Bettany, but yeah, I think they could have done something more to make
I
it
don't
more.
know about darker. I think the way that it was played, because he wasn't dark, he was scary. It wasn't.
He really wasn't. He was swarmy.
It wasn't so much that he was this, and this is why you don't play it darker, because he's not this hide in the shadows and come out kind of crime lord. I mean, he's got a big yacht that he flies around in. He throws extravagant parties on this yacht. He deals with the imperial governors. I mean, so obviously he talks to and is in cahoots with some high-ranking officials. He doesn't need to be dark. He needs to be out in the open.
I mean, he's almost just as much a politician as he is a crime lord, in a sense. And
I don't know. I just think they should have went different.
Well, I think that has a lot more to do, not so much with his character, but I think it has more to do with Ron Howard's directing, because I'm pretty sure that making, super dark and super broody, like sinister type characters isn't really something he's known for. He's known for more like larger than life. Their personality can change on a dime type of things. And in that regard, I think that Paul Bettany played it pretty well. I mean, obviously he had to follow the script and follow his director's direction, but for the character that he portrayed and the way that he was written, I think Paul Bettany played him pretty effectively. But I do agree in the fact that I do wish that they really had really went there with making him an evil and despicable character.
He sounds too nice to be evil and despicable. Maybe that's what it is. His voice is very calming and soothing.
Like I said, he comes off swarmy.
Maybe it's because it's the Vision voice, and we're Vision's a good guy. So
I loved him in A Knight's Tale. I thought he was hilarious in that movie. Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't a fan of the movie, but okay.
Blasphemy.
I only ever saw that movie once back in like middle school, and the one thing that stuck with me, and I don't know why, is whenever Heath Ledger is trying to convince the woman that he actually did write that poetry, and he tries to recite some to her, and he's just like, your breasts, they're below your neck, and
oh. There you go, Cam. There's your next Cam in focus. Do the Knight's Tale.
Oh, God.
Do not bash it. I will hate you forever.
Oh, I want to do it more now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, now I just really want to do it a lot more.
Ew, I'm going to have to troll you now.
Yeah, I'm like Grogu on the Razor Crest. Like, don't push that button.
Yeah, I have one more thing
to
bring up, and that's when you first saw the movie. Were you surprised to see Darth Maul?
Heck
Absolutely,
yeah, I was.
Because
I
think I was the only one in the movie. Well, no, I was with my son, and I think it was a pretty packed theater that we went in. But we're watching it, and as soon as that hologram came up, and you just seen the legs, and I said this out loud. I'm pretty sure the whole theater heard me, but I was like, "Holy shit!"
Well, it was the voice that got me. I was like, when he started talking, because you couldn't really see the hologram at first, but then he started talking. You're like, oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Sam Witwer. There's your live action Sam Witwer right there.
I wish.
That's
No,
Ray
even though the face is still Ray Park.
As soon as I seen those legs, I was just like, they didn't. Oh.
Okay,
what a surprise.
So that brings up an interesting question then, because at the end of the Clone Wars, he has created Darth Maul has created this criminal empire, but it's Black Sun. So did Crimson Dawn just kind of evolve from Black Sun? Or is this a new organization that he has taken over?
Kind of hard to say. I mean,
Wasn't
Crimson
Black
Dawn and
Sun
Black Sun kind of,
It's the dawn, sun,
yeah.
sky phenomenon. Black, crimson, colors.
Or maybe he went from one to the other.
Well, and that's why I'm curious as to your take on this, and maybe we'll get this hashed out. Maybe we'll get a Darth Maul series where it's all Maul all the time. And
Well, I would like to see the continuing story of Kira and Darth Maul, like what happens, because that's what I was when the movie ended. I was like, oh, the next movie is going to be good because we're going to see, maybe her doing crap behind the scenes and more Darth Maul.
No.
And then we got this covered article. Solo 2 canceled. No.
The fans.
I was pissed.
Well, it was the fans' fault that they canceled it. They didn't go see the movie.
Well, it wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't my fault either. I saw it opening night, like a real fan should.
A true fan.
That's right. Okay. Anything else? Was that your only one, Debbie?
Yeah, because I mean, we had kind of touched on Maul, but not the surprise element.
Anything for you, Cam? Anything else?
No, not really. It's I enjoyed the film. I thought it was pretty good. I'm sad that we didn't get a sequel out of it, but it is what it is. I mean, but they left enough open ended to where we will get more stories that intertwine with it later on. So at the very least, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, because Alden had, I don't know about the other actors, but I know Alden had signed a three
picture deal.
So I wonder if that's totally out the door, or if maybe possibly he could do a series.
Maybe we can get a 6-part series, and that counts as 2 movies.
Yeah, and then just wait. They'll try to bring back Harrison Ford as old man Han Solo somehow. He's not going to want to do it. They're like, Alden, what would you say about us digitally aging you?
You know what? Here's what it'll be. There was a TV show back a long time ago, back in the early 90s. It was called The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Mm-hmm. And look at this. I'm bringing up Indiana Jones yet again within this show. So in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, I think the season 2 premiere of that show actually featured Harrison Ford as an older Indiana Jones, and he like had a small little adventure at the beginning, and then he sat down and he was telling the story, back when I was a kid, and it faded into the Young Indiana Jones, and then at the very, very end, there's Harrison again resolving whatever he was. So we did this, and that's how it ended, and blah 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 blah.
And that's what I don't get, because there was a lot of people really like that series, and here you have somebody playing a young Indiana Jones, but they don't have a problem with it. And I'm like,
no, they don't. That's an excellent. I'd never thought of that. Yes, everybody liked young Indiana Jones, but heaven forbid young Han Solo. We can't do that.
Yeah, I don't get it. Fans are finicky.
They watch too many Mike Zero videos.
They're going to retcon the sequel trilogy, kick out Kathleen Kennedy, and put Filoni in charge.
Yeah, there have been like 7 videos talking about why Brie Larson is the villain of the Star Wars franchise. It's like, okay.
Whatever. Okay. Shameless plugs. Anything, Debbie?
MCU Mondays.
MCU Mondays. We had a great show this past Monday.
Yeah, I believe we're going to go more in depth than Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange next week. So it'll be,
because we had to kind of divide the show between Moon Knight finale and Doctor Strange. So we're going to go more in depth into Doctor Strange.
very good. Cam, anything to plug?
If you haven't checked out my new Cam and Focus video about Doctor Strange, head over to the YouTube channel. Check that out. It's a 60-second scrutiny where I talk for a bit longer than 60 seconds because I certainly had some things to say about that movie. And on the 15th, I will be live streaming an interview with someone I know who works in the film industry. We're going to be talking about, film, the process of making film, what goes into the process, the ins and outs of it. We're talking about the industry, so it'll be interesting. And if you love film like I do, I'm sure that you'll come out of it having learned something new.
Cool. Also, something else coming up this weekend. If you happen to be in the Dallas area and you don't have anything to do on Saturday and Sunday, I would recommend going to the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. They're having Brick Fest down there, which is a huge Lego convention, which, yes, I'm not interested in Lego at all.
I was going to say, you may never come back.
I may never come back. I am going to be there, and I will be doing some live streaming from there, and we're going to take a bunch of pictures, and they'll be all over the Facebook page, and go check it out because it's going to be amazing. But that's this weekend. I'm looking forward to that. I get early access on Friday to go watch the builders build everything. So tomorrow evening I will actually be down there, and it'll be great. So if you're
you got money saved up for all the Legos you're gonna buy.
Actually, you know what? I'm caught up on everything. I can walk into the store now, to a Target or a Walmart, and look at the shelves and say, I can't buy anything because I have everything. How sad is my life?
But this is a convention, though. They're going to be rolling out some new stuff.
Some new stuff there that you don't know about.
No, new stuff doesn't hit till August.
Yeah, just wait until you see Lego Boba Fett Starship.
I already got that one. Yeah. Slave One.
But do you have it called that?
Yes. We here at Geek News Now fully support Slave One.
Yes.
So check us out there next Thursday. Rogue One, quite possibly the greatest of the Disney era movies. I'm sorry, Cam, I'm going to disagree with you because this one's my favorite. So
it's one of mine too. So you, sir,
you
are
will
outnumbered.
You will be the vocal minority on this one.
That's okay.
He's used to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't hate it. I don't dislike it or nothing like that. It's just not high up on my list. So I'm looking forward to discussing it with you guys. Truly.
I should get Dave Gramillion on here and see if he wants to come.
my evil scheme is coming together. Let's rally against it.
It's a backstory, and I love them.
That's mostly everyone's favorite Disney era Star Wars movie.
And it's not just because of Vader at the end. I just love the whole backstory.
No.
Well, but that's what they say. Well, you only love it because it's got Vader.
It's got Vader in it. Well, that's a good part of it. Yes, that adds to it. That's like frosting on a cake right there. Cake's still good,
and it was awesome. But it's a good backstory.
We'll talk about that next week. We'll get there next week.
I'll have to get my.
Now, let me tell you something about that movie.
I'm going to do some really mad research on that.
Oh,
Cam.
You know what? I'm going to watch it at least 2 or 3 times between now and next week. So at least I've got to, just because.
I'll watch it. I'm just gonna complain the whole time.
Of course. All right. If we've got nothing else, we will see you all next week. Same time, same channel, 8:30 Thursday nights. Come join us in the Cantina. May the Force be with you all.